Hello, second grade. Are you ready for Chapter 7 of Mr. Peabody and Sherman? Let's begin. Chapter 7. When we got home, Mr. Peabody was just where we left him, talking to Penny's parents. I had never been so happy to see him. We hid in the hallway and waved him over. Mr. Peabody eyed our clothes. We were both dressed like ancient Greeks. You used the way back, he whispered. I did. I know, I said. I tried to quickly explain everything we had been through. And then you died in ancient Troy, I finished. But now you're here, and everything is fine. Well, not exactly, Mr. Peabody said. He looked more worried than I had ever seen him. I told you never to go back in time when you existed, because there'd be two of you. Yeah, I said, but the other one of me is in ancient Egypt. Just then, we heard the elevator ding. The doors opened, and another Sherman entered the room. Who are you? I asked a Sherman from the past. He's you from another time, Mr. Peabody explained. Past Sherman looked confused. But I thought you said never go back to a time when you existed. I know, I said. But what was I supposed to do? Mr. Peabody died in ancient Troy. What are we going to do? Penny asked. We are running out of time to set things right. Well, for starters, Mr. Peabody began, both Shermans can't stay here. I looked at past Sherman. He seemed to be thinking the same thing I was thinking. Having a twin might be fun. We tried to high-five, but when our hands got close together, crackling energy zapped between our fingers. Ouch! See, Mr. Peabody exclaimed. We can't have two Shermans in the same time. It puts too much strain on the time-space continuum. Mr. Peabody distracted the Petersons while past Sherman dashed towards the elevator. Ding! The doors opened again, and out stepped Miss Grunion. I've come for my inspection, she announced coldly. Of course. Why don't we start over here? Or there, Mr. Peabody suggested. He waved his hands back and forth, trying to hypnotize her. The Petersons started to fall into a trance again. So did past Sherman. He crashed to the floor, waking up the Petersons. Sherman, they exclaimed. Miss Grunion looked from past Sherman to me. Wait, is that? Before I could explain, the elevator opened once more. Mr. Peabody strode into the room, dressed in a Greek army gear. I ran toward him. You didn't die, I cried happily. Of course I didn't die, he explained. He explained how he made it back from the bottom of a Trojan ravine. Then he saw my double and his. Sherman, he said seriously, we've got to get you out of here before you touch yourself. You're not going anywhere, Miss Grunion declared. I've seen quite enough to remove both boys, from this home. No, cried Penny. Please, Miss Grunion, it's my fault. I started it. She turned to me. I'm sorry I picked on you, Sherman. I'm sorry I called you a dog. You have nothing to apologize for, Penny, Miss Grunion continued. A dog should not have been allowed to adopt a boy in the first place. She grabbed past Sherman and me by the arms. We both tried to break free, but accidentally fell onto each other. Ah! We cried. We morphed into a knot of cosmic energy. Help! The two Peabodys rushed to pull us apart, but it was too late. The lights flashed, and the ground shook. The four of us morphed into one giant ball of cosmic goo. Then boom! After the explosion, there was just one me and one Mr. Peabody again. Miss Grunion grabbed my arm. I don't know what just happened here, but you are coming with me, she ordered. Let me go, I shouted. Miss Grunion gripped me tighter. Ow, you're hurting me, I cried. And that Mr. Peabody lunged forward. He bit Miss Grunion on the right arm. I couldn't believe it. He bit me, said Miss Grunion in shock. She took out her phone and dialed the police. Mr. Peabody had only tried to protect me, but he had made things so much worse. What are we going to do, I asked. Run, Mr. Peabody cried. We sprinted for the way back. Penny followed close behind. I can't believe you bit her, I said to Mr. Peabody. I know, Sherman, it was wrong, he replied. Wrong? It was awesome. We piled into the way back. Outside, we heard the Petersons, Miss Grunion, and the police shouting after us. And now, to return to our proper time and erase this mess, Mr. Peabody said. He pushed a button. The wayback shot into the sky. A moment later, an alarm sounded from the dash. Time travel failed, the robotic voice warned. Oh dear, Mr. Peabody sighed. Our cosmic double colliding ripped a hole into the space-time continuum. That's why we can't get to the past. Suddenly, splat. Leonardo da Vinci smacked into our windshield, followed by King Tut. I looked into the sky. It was raining historical figures. They were falling out of the hole. We need to get to the past, Mr. Peabody declared. He steered the way back through the air. Police helicopters followed. It looks like the past is coming to us, I replied as I watched Armageddon fall through the sky. I'm trying to find another wormhole, Mr. Peabody said. He punched different dates into the computer, trying to find a way back in time. But they all led to the present. Outside the window, I saw a police helicopter heading right for us. Look out, I shouted. Mr. Peabody slammed on the brakes. The wayback dropped through the sky. Stay tuned for Chapter 8.